This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
You know, usually I'm not one to let the music run a whole lot, but that kind of puts a shiver up your spine, doesn't it? Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Friday edition of the Morning Drive on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3. I'm Chuck Heinz with Brennan Riker. Brennan, do you know that we are blessed with greatness today?
Oh, yeah.
We have a true savant, a former coach, television executive, bank executive, Texas Tech administrator, and just all-around good guy, Craig Wells, with us today.
A man of many hats.
And talents.
And as a junior varsity player, it's great to be with the varsity. It is great to be with the varsity this morning. Got to perform.
Everybody gets called up.
Yep.
So now, you know, it's like when you're at the end of the bench, you know, and you get into the ball game, you know, you've got to make sure that you know what you're supposed to do because you've had this opportunity to see all the mistakes that have been made on this show over the years. So this is your time to shine.
You know, I've very appropriately been on the end of the bench, and I keep telling Rob and everybody else, there's an art to sitting on the bench. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't sit right next to the coach. Because when he gets mad and puts somebody in, it's never the first guy. He leans over and gets that second guy and says, "Get in there,
get in there."
Or if he's some football guy and he says, "Oh God, we got to get that guy out of there." He turns and gets a guy right there behind him. He doesn't get the guy right beside him. He turns to get the right behind him. So there's an art to sitting on the bench.
Gets a little frustrated. Well, I'm curious to hear from really, really long-time Red Raiders today. What tomorrow is going to mean to you, because it is it's special, you know. And this is what we call one of those once-in-a-lifetime opportunities that you hope is not once in a lifetime, but you can only go to the Big 12 Conference Championship game first once, and that's tomorrow. And we'll have coverage today. The fellas are going to be at Texas Live. They're in between the ballpark in Arlington and Cowboy Stadium. And then tomorrow we'll be inside the stadium in the standing room only area. I'm not sure exactly which part of the concourse, but we'll be there tomorrow morning for Optimum Game Day Live at 7 a.m. till we take you inside the stadium, down further with Chris Level on the field and Brian Jensen and John Harris in the booth. And I got to think for a guy like John Harris, man, he has been through so many seasons and so many, highs and lows that, you think back to the link to the Spike Dykes era and maybe even the 1 year of what's his name, the guy from Texas who I'm thinking of,
David
McWilliams, and even maybe a little bit further than that, than whether it's Jerry Moore. But I mean, there's people that have been kicking stones going into that stadium for 50 years. I mean, I go back to 1993. That's the year that we became season ticket holders, and that's the year before we got married. So this is year 33 for me, and I don't necessarily consider myself a longtime Red Raider because I didn't go to school here, but so I don't have that childhood memory of sitting there in the end zone and catching footballs and stuff like that. But I've certainly suffered through my share of highs and lows with this program over the decades. But I mean, there's people that tomorrow this will be unbelievably special. And look, it ain't over after tomorrow. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of meat left on the bone here, Craig.
Yeah. Boy, that's exactly right.
I mean, and tomorrow is the biggest game in school history, right?
No doubt. My opinion, even when we go to the first round playoffs, the Big 12 championship still, up till that point, is the biggest game. I mean, it's one of those, and you described it so well, it's just one of those I didn't think it would ever happen moments.
Yeah.
And you go back to the women's national championship. You go back to the men playing in the Final Four.
Playing for a national
championship. It's just one of those, gosh, I didn't think this would ever happen. And it was, I guess the closest somebody came to it was when we were co-champions of the Southwest Conference. And,
but even that was...
and we didn't make it to the Cotton Bowl, so it didn't have that championship feel to it.
Right. And even in 94, we had that chance. All we have to do is go beat TCU, right?
Yeah.
And we have it all by ourselves, and we end up in this... I don't know, 6-way tie or whatever it was, or 4-way tie. And and the Aggies really were the Southwest Conference champions, but they cheated. So they didn't prior to that, so they weren't eligible to go to the Cotton Bowl. So we kind of backed our way in, and we could have kind of kicked the door down, to quote Bum Phillips, but we didn't.
No.
And so, now it feels like we've kicked the door in.
No doubt. And it's so big. For the school, for the community, for the program, and just single out the football program. I can't even imagine the difference in recruiting that Joey had signing 20 players Wednesday as opposed to signing his players his first year. I mean, it's just a different atmosphere around there right now.
Well, it is. I mean, there's so many things that are different. I mean, you've got the money that's involved. You've got the facility that's involved. You've got the momentum that's involved. I mean, I'm sure that when those parents and those recruits sit down with Joey McGuire or his staff or any of his people, they immediately get the feeling of, for them, I would think, this is a fit or it's not a fit.
Yep.
And they look at him and they go, man, he embodies that school. His staff embodies that school. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, that, when you walk into that building, no matter who you are, you feel welcome.
Oh, no doubt.
That you feel welcome. Now, you're not just welcome to roam around. They're not just going to give you a key and go, hey, just go look around and see whatever you want to see, But I think there is something to be said that when you're around a program, you get the feeling that, man, there's a lot here, and there's a lot left in this football season. It doesn't end tomorrow by any stretch of the imagination. So tomorrow they might tell you what's the beginning of a second season, really.
And it's it's so cool, and it's so fun to be in that atmosphere. And like Joey McGuire said when he first got here in his first press conference, Raider power.
Yep.
I mean, Raider power. How cool is that?
All right, so we'll have coverage all day long. We'll be at Texas Live today at noon with Clint Scott, Rob Bro, Jamie Lint, Mike Usted, Chris Neat. There's going to be a host of guys that'll be talking to you today and talking with you, and hopefully you talking back on the Yates Flooring Center chat line as we come to you this morning from the First United Bank studio.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Coming up at 7, we'll continue Red Raider football discussion all day long. I mean, we do have a basketball game on Sunday.
Yep.
But we're operating under a kind of a cloak of darkness right now, and that may be the best thing for that team. 6:45 this morning. It is this day in sports history. All right, let's see here. Some things from the Yates Flooring Center chat line this morning. My dad got tickets to sit in the North End zone to get to see Donnie Anderson play. We sat in wooden Little League bleachers, and the end zone was chalked in the diamond-shaped pattern. Listened to countless Exxon Radio network broadcasts with Jack Dale, Frank Fallon, and Ray Boyd. Call games on my transistor radio. And when Texas Tech was on TV, was huge, right? Was huge. I remember those days. You were, hey, how many TV games we get? 2. Okay. Yeah. This is beyond fantastic. Wreck 'em.
Used to be a guy named Kern Tips.
Yep, Kern Tips.
And when you got a Tech game on there, that means it's a pretty big game.
Frank Fallon was the voice of the Baylor Bears.
Yep.
And they have a banner that hangs at that arena for him at the Farrell Center, and also probably at the new place too. And they moved over. But, I mean, Frank Fallon was the voice of the Final Four for decades. I mean, you would hear Jim Nance or Brent Musburger or whomever was doing the games for CBS. And now we go to the voice of the Final Four, Frank Fallon. I mean, and he had that big, ballsy voice. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to blah, blah, blah.
Yep. There's
He
been
was
some.
awesome.
There's been some true personalities in the radio booths across the years. Dave South.
Oh my God, Dave South getting tossed out of a game. And that's in the. I will tell you this. That is in the back of my mind, especially in some of these arenas sometimes.
Yeah, when you're so close.
When we're so close and we were right there by the officials, and I've yet to have one look at me. Okay.
Yeah.
But because I know that my voice carries, and the personal experience I've had of getting thrown out of a little girls' basketball game from the bleachers, is not lost. Okay.
Yeah.
I've been tossed from 2 basketball games. Once in 9th grade when I ran into a guy and he went down. I got called for a foul, and then he got back up, and I thought he was trying to take out my knee, and I pushed him down again. Okay. Yep. So that was not good.
They said, watch this one from someplace else. You're not here.
Well, they put me on the bench, and then the coach didn't realize I'd been tossed from the game, and he put me back in. Then we got even more technicals. So it was not a good afternoon. Let's see here. Good morning, guys. Arlington bound. I've been a season ticket holder for 17 years, and I've been waiting for this Big 12 championship, and I need it. Let's go. From Pepsi Man. P.S. What does Joey the Elf look like? Looks like a little elf. So Joey the Elf is something that we've been playing around with. And apparently Joey the Elf has made the trip with Clint Scott and Rob Rowe. When Joey the Elf appears and you see him on YouTube or Fox 34 News Now or DoubleT973.com or whatever it is that you're watching, call 806-771-0973 and be the first to call, and you win a prize. Okay?
And I saw him on the dashboard of a car.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Going to Dallas.
Going to Dallas, okay.
Going to Arlington.
I wonder what that ride was like yesterday for Bro and Clint Scott. You know, those guys used to be those guys were college roommates.
I did not know that.
Yes. Good morning from Arlington. Got here last night. Been waiting for this moment since 1992. 44 years old. Being a Red Raider fan has been a birthright. We've been waiting for this forever. This game means everything. Playoff games are icing on the cake. Wreck 'em. Okay. I'm unable to attend this game, but really wanted to go. We'll be watching and cheering loud and proud for Red Raiders from my living room. Okay, good for you. Yeah, wherever you are, feel free to celebrate. This from Mustang softball dad, turned 48 yesterday. A Big 12 championship would be the best birthday present ever for my whole life. There's always that worry that Tech will do what they've done in the past and not show up at the big time, but this team feels different. Call it cocky, but this team made me feel that way. I put in the word feel. Wreck 'em, Tech. I don't think you have to worry about this team not being ready for the moment. It's a veteran group, right?
Right.
They understand what's on the line.
Yep.
And I also think, even though they played in a different time zone last week, but the game before that, the UCF game was at 11. And I don't necessarily like the 11 o'clock games, but probably on the road, in this situation, it's the best thing for them.
Those coaches will tell you that too. I mean, they don't have to sit around a hotel all afternoon and wait for a night game and
hope everybody gets a nap.
And you've got an 11 o'clock routine. You've got a 2:30 routine or whatever. But I think the coaches, they probably don't prefer 11 o'clock, but they're okay with it, especially out of town.
Yeah. The old saying is wrong. It should be when mama-in-law ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. I'm just going to tell you, personal experience, you don't want both of them mad at you.
Yeah.
Because generally if both of them are mad at you, if you've got a daughter that's kind of like them, I made the mistake once of saying to my daughter, my oldest daughter, in front of her mother, in front of her grandmother, "You are acting like your mother."
Oh.
And then I looked at my wife, and my mother-in-law said,
"And?
Don't you say it." I said, "And you are acting like your mother." And I said to my mother-in-law, "I never had the pleasure of meeting your mother, but I'm pretty certain that you're acting like her right now too." So that it got a little chilly just for a few minutes.
Yeah.
But I worked my way out of it.
My first job out of college was as a teacher and coach, and probably the most important person other than the person that hired you and your head coach, because I was an assistant, is the lady that runs a credit union, and that's who I married. Okay. The daughter of the lady that ran the credit union. So I was real nice to her.
I'm sure you were. This seems like sarcasm here. Thanks for brightening my day with your mother-in-law comments, mother of 3 sons. Just love them.
Yeah,
just love them. They'll take care of you.
That's right.
And that's the thing. That's the thing about sons too. I think sons will take care of moms.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the nurturing kind of way, but maybe sometimes in the other ways, financial ways, or things. Maybe doing the work around the house at the end of the day.
Yeah.
What I consider my only big game attended was the Cotton Bowl when we got spanked by USC. Yeah, that was a big game. My first memory is my freshman year at Tech when Rodney got hurt by Texas A&M.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of that out there, Chuck. There's a lot of people that have seen a lot of games. Yeah. And Tech's got a great following of people that have been with them for a long time.
Chuck, I've pushed the limits on getting booted from basketball games even last night in a 4th grade game, keeping books, and told a ref she didn't know what she was doing. Yeah. And see, my oldest daughter one time, she was on the Palm Squad at Tech, and as she was sitting there all, prissy and prancy, she kind of had a little mouth on her every once in a while. She said to a referee, do you not know what you're doing, or is your ponytail just too tight? And that referee informed her there's one more word out of her and she would be gone, and she just said, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Hey, good morning. It is 7:02 this morning on the Morning Drive with Craig Wells, who's in for Jamie Lent, and Brennan Reicher's in for Jeff this week. I'm Chuck Heinz. We come to you from the First United Bank studio. The Yates Morning Center chat line is open, so is the Visual Edge IT hotline. That number is 806-771-0973. We're talking Red Raider football, and we'll have coverage today from Texas Live there in Arlington, and also from Cowboy Stadium tomorrow as we bring you Optimum Game Day Live tomorrow morning from 7 until 10 for our coverage. Then we'll go inside the huddle and inside the stadium even further with Brian Jensen, John Harris, and Chris Level. Have you been to the Texas Live stuff since they got all that built up?
I have not.
I have not either. I'm trying to think the last time I was in that area. It's been a few years ago. I've not been to the new Rangers ballpark, so that tells you how long it's been since, for whatever reason, we just haven't traversed that way. So I'm curious to see what all of it looks like. I mean, and really, again, this is why he's a Hall of Fame businessman. Everybody in the NFL and Major League Baseball is now trying to do what Jerry Jones did 5 years ago.
Yep.
And that's develop real estate around their stadiums. And that's why you see a lot of these stadiums that maybe previously were in the suburbs are now trying to go more into the cities so they can develop land and stuff around it. I know that's what they're trying to do in Kansas City. They're doing that and that's what they did in Detroit. You saw that last night with Ford Field right next to where the Pistons play.
And a lot of colleges are looking at it real strong now that they need extra revenue.
Right, because it is never good enough, right?
There's never enough.
Yes, never enough, and so we'll see what transpires tomorrow. What's your confidence factor tomorrow with Tech and BYU?
Real high. Chuck, there's nothing that I have seen or read or heard that tells me, excuse me, that the game's going to be much different than the first one. I mean, L.J. Martin's going to be available.
But he was available.
Right,
he played against us.
You're right. But and that's what I'm saying. He's not going to add that much to the game. I just, to me, there just hasn't been enough change by anybody to think that game's going to be that much different.
And really, if it's going to be that much different, it could be more offensive than what it was here. because you kicked 5 field goals here.
We watched the majority of that game yesterday on the show while we were on the show, and you know, Coy Aiken mishandles one in the end zone. I mean, you made a couple of mistakes that might have cost you 2 touchdowns, and you end up getting 2 field goals out of it. But I feel really good. I feel good about our chances. I feel good about the approach that Coach McGuire has had all week of, just really focusing in and getting locked in, as they say, on what the task at hand. BYU's good. I think they're definitely the second best team. I said yesterday, up until the game that they played us, I thought Utah was the second best team. Mm-hmm. And I realized BYU beat Utah, but I thought Utah, from the eye test, was the second best team until I saw BYU in person. And I think they are the 2 best teams are playing, no doubt.
And this is where I have a huge issue with some of my colleagues from yesterday. And I do suffer, like many of you, from the "it's never good enough" disease. Okay, as part of that, it's never cold enough, it's never hot enough. With regard to food, it's never enough. It's never enough when it comes to events. It's never enough when it comes to my personal business. It's never enough when it comes to funding retirement. It's never enough. I'm not satisfied.
Yep.
Okay, right. So you never have to encourage me to have a guy that, hey, don't be satisfied.
Yeah.
So I am really highly irritated and highly upset with the fact that Joey McGuire didn't get the Big 12 Coach of the Year. I think it's a travesty, an outright travesty that Kalani Sitake was picked as the head coach over Joey McGuire. Hey, by the way, you want to talk about head-to-head and on competition and stuff? What happened head-to-head? So what I think this is, by the Big 12 coaches and or their sports information directors who probably did the vote and then said to the coach, hey, here's who we're voting for. Is that okay with you? Yeah. So I'm worried about first downs and touchdowns. I'm worried about getting this kid from Pensacola. Don't be coming to me with this list. I think this is an indictment against Texas Tech.
For the money.
For the money.
Yep. No doubt.
I mean, this is that's where they got you, okay? That's where they got Joey McGuire. That Big 12 Coach of the Year trophy should be sitting in his office, should be being on its way to Lubbock. And this business of, well, I really didn't have a problem with Kalani Sitake getting the Big 12 Coach of the Year. Well, you know what I do? I'm mad as hell about it.
I totally agree. I'm on your side. I use the example yesterday of John Wooden, and I listened to him speak one night, and he was talking about people really got on him, and as far as how he could coach or how he could do this or do that, because he had all the talent. He had all the All-Americans sitting over. He had 10 All-Americans sitting on his bench, and he made a statement, and I totally agree with him. You know, it takes talent, but somebody's got to coach that talent.
Right.
You know, that money got us some players, but to do what he did with those players and to get them in the position that they are and to win a championship, I'm right there with you. He's Coach of the Year material.
Yeah,
to me. I mean, it just.
How many times have we seen a baseball team try to buy talent? It's like, I mean, and you can, and everybody's like always wants to talk about the Yankees. Well, it ain't just the Yankees, okay? Yeah. Texas Rangers did a pretty good job of buying their World Series, but you had to have somebody to manage it, okay? And who did they go get to manage it and bring them in and bring all those guys together? Well, it's Bruce Bochy.
Yeah.
I bet. Guess what? He'd had experience doing that before.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, Chuck, I think it filtered down to the first team offense too. I think that we had so many players on the defense that I think they felt like, well, we can't give Tech everything. Cameron Dickey not being on the first team was interesting to say the least.
This insults me to the nth on this text here. It's that they respect the way Sitake did it over McGuire. Okay, here's the deal. Kalani Sitake, it's not like they had a bunch of guys that weren't getting paid anything. They have a bunch of guys over there that are grown men. Okay, grown men, 23, 24 years old, that are playing for them for one reason.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Next, Jamie's question of the day.
Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3, presented today by someone not named Jamie, is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, gentlemen, my question of the day is for Texas Tech football, who will be an underrated player in the Big 12 championship versus BYU?
Underrated player.
Someone who maybe, this week what we're talking about X factors and who's going to have great games, who's someone we're not really thinking about that's going to have a good game tomorrow.
Not that I will speak for Jamie, okay? Okay, because he would be like, the last person he wants speaking for him is me, okay? I think Jamie would say Micah Hudson, Brennan.
Micah Hudson.
I think Jamie would say Micah Hudson in some form or fashion. Now, he caught one ball for 4 yards in the last game against BYU, but you saw him get in play a little bit. I mean, you talk about underrated. I mean, is a guy like John Curry underrated?
I think so.
I mean, they would say underrated when you compare him to.
He would not make the first three teams of all Big 12.
Yeah,
and I think that's a travesty. But yeah, I think that'd be a good pick.
Okay, I'll go with John Curry.
I think that's a really good pick. That's a great question. Underrated, because the guy that I think, I'll tell you a guy that I think is underrated. That's going to be is A.J. Holmes.
Mm-hmm. I
think we've got to stop the run game, and I think he's got to be a big part of that. He and Lee Hunter, but I think he needs to have a really good game. And I think it'll be icing on the cake for the rest of that defense if he really steps it up. And he's played well, I think, as filling in.
He was involved in 4 tackles. He had 1 unassisted and 3 assisted the last time he played BYU.
Yeah.
For me, and I thought of 2 names, and someone on the chat line mentioned one of them, but I'll start with Baron Morton. Because one thing that we've talked about this week is, well, we want to run the football. We want to, set that tone on the ground. BYU's going to have a tough time stopping your run game, and you want to keep Barron healthy. But I think Barron has a chip on his shoulder. I mean, 10-0 record this year as QB1 on an 11-1 team, and he gets Big 12 honorable mention.
Yeah.
And I think we might see a little more passing than we think we'll see tomorrow. And one receiver that I really like is Terrence Carter. I think he's underrated. He does great work, not too flashy, but just a solid receiver and a solid option for Baron Morton. I think Barron's going to have a chip on his shoulder tomorrow, and I wouldn't be surprised if he has some really good connections in tomorrow's game and to lead you to your first ever Big 12 championship. And we mention it time and time again, but he's tough. And he's going to continue to show that in tomorrow's game when you need him most.
That's sound philosophy. And that whole offense may have a chip on their shoulder because they were not given much acclaim as far as the all Big 12 teams, and people start talking about the 5 field goals against them and talking about kicking field goals and the red zone and so forth. I looked last night. We were 6 of 7 scoring in the red zone against BYU.
I know, but you had...
Yeah, but there's lots of people that can't get down there and score a field goal.
That.
Yeah,
and I've been the chief red flagger of the red zone stuff.
Yeah,
but the point is that I get it that you can't be 100%, but you need to
Yeah,
better than none percent.
Yeah, you don't need to be kicking 5 field goals.
No, because
right.
it's dangerous.
But I mean, hats off to Stone Harrington. But 6 out of 7 times you scored. That's you need to, if you can keep that kind of percentage and make a couple of those touchdowns instead of field goals, I think you're on your way.
And how about Stone Harrington being on the Big 12? What was he?
First team kicker.
Your first team kicker, yeah.
Not bad for a guy that was going to be doing it by committee.
Right. right. Who was never really outright declared the starter, right?
Yeah, right.
It goes back to the, if Cliff Kingsbury would have been the coach and we said, hey, who's going to be the kicker? He'd say, well, he's going to be when he trots out there. That was his standard line with regard to the quarterback. Somebody says Cole Wisniewski.
Yeah. I started to think about Cole, and I tell you another one. It is Bryce Pollock.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's had a good game against West Virginia, and you need those corners, especially against BYU.
Was the other guy you were going to say, Brennan, Terrence Carter?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what somebody brings up off the chat line. And his name could go through but see, I was trying to come up with a name that we haven't really talked about every single day. And I think what he did against West Virginia, it was like, wow, there he is again. There he is finally again. He's been a guy that's been dinged up a little bit. So, I mean, we certainly have seen his athleticism and what he's able to do. So that's really good. Somebody else says, I think Carter and Virgil are going to have big games tomorrow. Man, I hope you're right. That would certainly be this. Juan M writes in, Craig, I love your confidence, but by the way this team is played to this point, to me, it seems that this team does not want to play. Oh, you're talking about the Cow. You're talking about the Tech basketball team. Sorry, Juan M.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the Cowboys there for a second.
I read that, and I do agree. Their defense has got to get better. But the way that defense and your toughness gets better is you can string 4 or 5 practices together. And I think they've been able to do that. And you'll see an improved team, I promise you, over the next 2 weeks. Doesn't mean they're going to win every game, but you're going to see an improved team.
And I agree with this. I was going to bring this up, but every time I bring him up, I get criticized for it. Our punter has been taken for granted, in my opinion. There's no question Jack Burgess has been big for you.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Good job, Brennan, on the music.
8:02 this morning here on the Morning Drive. You can't go wrong playing those hits today, can you?
Nope.
It is the Morning Drive here on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3. That calm, mature, well thought out voice that you just heard was Craig Wells, who's in for Jamie Lint today. And he's a well thought out, calm voice for the show.
He really is.
I mean, he brings that as well. And Brennan does too. I'm not sure really what I bring. Chaos is what I bring, more than anything else. But we come to you, Craig and Brennan and I, from the First United Bank studio. Take your thoughts and comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that of the mobile app. The Visual Edge IT hotline, it is open at 806-771-0973.
You know who Jamie reminds me of?
Who's that?
You might remember him. Joe Friday. Dragnet.
Oh, yeah.
Just the facts, ma'am.
Just the facts, yeah. Nothing. Do you know who Joe Friday is, Brennan?
I do not.
That's okay. It's okay. It's okay. The show was Dragnet was the show.
Is it?
And it was based on a 2 guys, Joe
Detectives.
Friday and Frank Gannon. Frank Gannon, is that right?
Yeah.
Frank Gannon was his partner. Colonel Potter from MASH. Do you know MASH?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, these 2 guys were detectives. Okay. And so they based on true stories within the City of Los Angeles Police Department. Okay. And he would, my name is Friday, Joe Friday. These are the stories. Today is Friday, December the 5th. We're working the day shift. Brennan was in on the board. And then it goes on and on and on and on. Anybody that's over the age of 50 understands this. Maybe 50. Maybe you have to go 55 because Jamie's not a MASH guy.
Is that right?
No, he's not a MASH guy. But that's okay. Jeff and I will make references sometimes to MASH, and Jamie will just look at, and we'll just go MASH. Okay, we'll just go MASH.
I have a daughter that the reruns of MASH were that was appointment TV for her.
Okay, yeah. Let's see. BYU fans are bragging that they have no out or questionable on the availability report, yet Tech remains 12.5-point favorites. I'll just say this about the availability report. I think, and I know, and this is going to sound so homerish, but I do believe this to be true. There are some schools, and I'm not saying BYU is one of these, okay? There are some schools that play this closer to the vest than others with the availability report. And I think we've played it pretty close to the vest.
But we've played it. In other words, we've attempted to do by the letter of the right thing.
Yes.
Utah putting 25 players on, possible or whatever. I mean, but there's no recourse if you don't do it right. So until they...
I mean, do I believe that BYU has nobody out? I mean, they've got some guys that probably are.
Yeah.
I mean, we list 4 guys that are out, and they're the same 4 guys that basically we've listed all year. It's disappointing that Mo Horn and Roy Alexander haven't been able to get on the field. Skylar Gill-Howard, everybody wants to talk about him, which I get. I mean, he would be awesome to have on the field. Unfortunately, haven't had him on the field for 10 games, and is it possible to get him back? I mean, I hear Choice talk about him maybe possibly in the quarterfinals or the semifinals, but then you're talking about disrupting your defense too.
Well, and it's also extremely hard not to play for 8 or 9 weeks and then turn around and get out there and give maximum effort.
Yes.
That's hard. That's real hard to do.
You do have a player out in the first half because of a targeting call, and that was on Trent Lowe, the linebacker.
Okay.
So he'll be out for the first half. And then they list as probable. And all these guys are going to play. If it's when you get to questionable, on at least on the Tech list, that makes you wonder if they're going to see the field. And the only one listed as questionable is Macho Stevenson.
Yep.
And he is a reserve guy.
Yep.
So, and he's a guy. It's funny because I've kept these, and today's not the day for this, and maybe when we get to the off season or maybe late in the year, we get to the next, because we're going to have time between. Hopefully, we're going to have time. Hopefully, you win tomorrow, win Big 12, then your next game's not till December 31st.
Right.
But I've got like the where you were for your depth chart for the Liberty Bowl. And where we are today, and then where we were for the first game. I mean, it's the transformation of this team from the Liberty Bowl last year at this time is more than significant, right?
I'd like to look at also the 2 deep at the end of spring ball.
I don't know if I have that or not.
Because they come out with a 2 deep at the end of spring ball.
Yeah, he does a 2 deep or he makes it clear kind of who the 2 deep is. But so your probables are Baron Morton, which we all get. Guy's got some kind of fracture in his tibia. Cole Wisniewski, we get that. He's been, as Coach McGuire says, football banged up. John Curry, Mitch Griffiths. That's the one I'm really.
Yeah.
That's the big question right there, right? What was that? And here's the deal. I think if we get out to this big lead, dare to dream, right? Let's just say at the end of the third quarter, you lead 35-7. You might play Barron one more series, and then the next series.
And then again, you might not.
And then again, you might not, right? But are we going to see him, or are we going to see the number 4 guy?
Yeah.
We're going to see Mitch Griffiths, because Coach McGuire said everybody who played last Saturday is going to be available to play this Saturday.
Yeah. I think against West Virginia, I think Mitch Griffiths could have gone in if he had to, but I think they knew what was ahead of them and chose to go the route they did. But I
think he said that he could have come back in if they'd have needed him.
Yeah.
But if they'd have really needed him, Baron Morton would have come back in, right? Because Baron Morton didn't leave injured against West Virginia.
Yeah, or Baron Morton's never coming out.
Or he's not coming out, right. David Bailey's on this list, and Howard Sampson is on this list. And frankly, the guys that you're most concerned about are those last two guys, because both of those guys left that West Virginia game.
Yep.
And they're much more significant to the success of your defense and your offense on that line of scrimmage than Mitch Griffiths is as your backup quarterback.
Okay, coming back after this break, I want to talk to you about, because you talked about it, that you hope our next game's December 31st. I want to talk about the college football playoff.
Okay.
And your opinion on a couple of things.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Here on the Morning Drive, good morning with Craig Wells, who's in for Jamie Lent, and Brennan, who's in for Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. I guess is it tibia? Is that the correct?
No.
What is it?
Fibula.
I thought it was his tibia that was
That's
fractured.
The upper leg, I think. And fibula is the lower leg.
Well, Coach McGuire was kind of confused on that too when he was.
Is that right?
I
could be completely wrong.
No, I have no idea.
I could be completely wrong.
I have no idea, and I like that when that X-ray got showed on TV. I was like, how in the world did that happen?
Yeah,
And
I watched. That was not an X-ray.
Or was it just, what was it?
It was the protective cover that they had on it. And to bring up another story, Daniel Jones, quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, has got the same thing.
Deal, yeah.
And his roommates from college at Duke 3D printed his Teflon or whatever it is cover. That's pretty amazing, though, that they could.
Clearly, I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, I'm not either.
I'm not, and we're still trying to figure out what I do that's really of any value.
Right.
Both are lower leg, but fibula is non-weight bearing.
Okay.
Tibia and fibula are both lower leg. We got a lot of medical experts all of a sudden here that have weighed in.
Tibia is a big bone. Fibula is a smaller bone.
Yeah.
Tibia.
Fibula. Tibia and fibula. Yeah.
I think I remember learning someone teaching me that in 7th grade in like a health class or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I lost it a long time ago.
Sure.
You regurgitated it for the test, but other than that.
Yes, other than that, I was like, I don't need to retain this. I don't need to know the different bones of the body.
Here's another compliment for you, Brennan. Enjoying the bumper music today, guns up. Yes.
Yep.
That would.
All right, let's talk college football playoff a minute.
Okay,
yes,
you do. I'm sorry.
I want to get your opinion on something for two things. First of all, buy or play first round. Which do you think, if you're Texas Tech, you would prefer doing?
Oh, okay. Well, let's see here. Let me talk out of both sides of my mouth here for just a second, and then I'll give you what I want. If I'm Texas Tech athletic department business office, okay, and I'm any hotel manager in town, bar owner, restaurant, any of us, frankly, because the money flows through the whole town. The best thing for you is for you to host a college football playoff game, because the economic impact on this town in December, on December the 19th or 20th, nothing would be greater than that. Okay?
Okay.
Now, what's best for your football team, which again, sometimes that would be short time gain and long-term pain, because it may cost you, because as Coach McGuire says, you have one less loss to survive.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so if you play that game and you get somebody hurt that's really key, and then you lose in the quarterfinals, then that's it. Your season's over. If you win tomorrow, I think it becomes a high water mark no matter what happens in the playoffs, because let's say you lose tomorrow and then you win a game, you win the play-in game, so to speak, in the college football playoffs to get to the final 8. But then you lose in the quarterfinals, and you're like, It's a great season because we went to college football playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay, but you win tomorrow, you're Big 12 Conference champions, 2025 forever.
Yep.
And you have your first ever, and you fill a spot over there at the football facility with a trophy. And even if you lose that first game in the college football playoffs, you can say, we made it to the college football playoffs. We made it to the Big 12 championship game. We checked that box. We checked the box because we're Big 12 champions. The next step is for us to go deeper. So, and here's the other thing too, though. You win tomorrow, and then you win that quarterfinal game. Now all of a sudden, you're playing for the right to play for the right for the national championship.
Yep.
You're 2 games away from a national championship if you win that quarterfinal game. So the best thing for us tomorrow, win that football game.
Yep.
For
lots of reasons.
For lots of reasons, because then you can have commemorative coffee cups or T-shirts or ball caps or visors or ditty bags or whatever, backpacks. Big 12 Conference champions 2025.
And you started off the show at 6 o'clock this morning by saying you only get one chance at your first Big 12 championship.
Yes.
Second question.
Okay.
Is the committee responsible for getting the 12 best football teams into these playoffs, or are they responsible for making sure all bases are covered?
I think the committee is responsible for getting the 11 best, and then the non-power 4, whatever, however that's done, which I think is bogus. I think it's time to do away with that. I think it's time to have a big boy, just like in high school, in every state.
Yeah.
In every state, like in boys, girls basketball, and track, and boys, girls baseball for the boys, softball for the girls. They have the big boy divisions and they have the little boy divisions.
Yep.
It's time to have a little boy division.
Yeah.
For the Boise States of the world and the James Madisons and the whomever else's of the world.
Those teams between FCS and top of the tier Power 4 conferences, those teams need to be playing for a championship. The American Conference, the Mountain West Conference.
Play for their own championships.
Yes. And have your own tournament and be the FBS Division II champion.
Yeah, so here then becomes the deal. Like and we're going to make some predictions here next. But I mean, Duke and Virginia tomorrow night for the ACC championship. Is it in the best interest of the college football playoffs for Virginia to win? Or do you say, well, if Duke wins, then probably the winner of North Texas and Tulane and the winner of James Madison and Troy are both going to be in the college football playoffs, which seems really watered down to me.
I agree. If Duke wins convincingly, put them in.
They won't be in, because their record is 7-5. They won't be ranked high enough to be in. The ACC champion.
It doesn't have to be in.
Yeah.
But my deal is, if they beat Virginia bad enough, put them in.
Put them in what?
Put them in the playoff.
Duke?
Yes.
No.
If they beat Virginia,
that's against the rules.
35 to nothing.
It won't happen like that. Then you'd have to see, does Miami get in at 10-2?
Absolutely, they should get in.
Okay.
But they're not going to get in.
Right. What about BYU? Do you have BYU? Do you think BYU deserves to be in?
Yes.
Over whom?
Notre Dame.
Okay, or Alabama?
Yeah, if Alabama loses, especially.
Yeah. But you're not supposed to be penalized. You're gonna penalize one school and not penalize the other.
Yeah.
But the BYU people would say, hey, we lost the same team twice.
Yeah.
And they're a top 5 team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's lots of ifs, ands, and buts about the whole playoff system.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear to me that you need to have 16 teams and have 8 home games and no buys. That's what I would. If you ask me what I would like, that's what I would like.
I would like 8 conferences, take 8 conference winners, and then put in 4 at-large teams, regardless of what conference you're in, and get the 12 best teams.
I'd like the 16 best teams and have the first round be home games, because I think that would be awesome for college football. The other thing that I would do is I would start this thing the week after the conference championship game. I would start at the 14th.
Yes. Joey lined that up pretty good, I think.
And I think that you could make a case then to have your college football season over by if not the 1st, by the 8th or 9th or so of January, and not the 20th.
But that's too late. How can you compare teams in a conference when you don't play everybody?
Well, I mean, I'm just telling you, take the best 16.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.